Hello, 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 beautiful ladies. Welcome to Wife Masterclass. I am Gail Crowder, the one sexy wife herself, and I just want to tell you, thank you so much for joining me in Wife Masterclass. And I come to you just saying this is a great place where great wives become even greater. And tonight, I come to you with a little heavy heart. We were supposed to have the wonderful, great Allison Seymour from Fox News 5 in the Washington, D.C. area. Unfortunately, I got a phone call saying that Allison Seymour had lost her mother. And so I wanted for us to really lift that family up before we get started. And today I will be the one who's going to teach her class. She wanted to be on here. Her husband called saying she felt so bad. And I'm like, listen, you have lost your mother, right? You have lost your mother. And Wife Masterclass is important, and the women wanted to hear from you. But at the end of the day, I wanted to assure her that everything was going to be okay. And so she's asking for a rain check from you guys, and she asked me for a rain check, and by all means, we will give it to her. She'll have another opportunity to pour into you ladies. So I know that most of the women who watch me are women of faith. So I'm going to say a little prayer for Allison and her family, because I am blessed to still have my mom, but I know that some of the ladies that are on the line and some of my friends have lost their mothers, and I just can't imagine what she's feeling right now. So I just want to say a prayer. Spirit of the living God, we're so grateful. We're so grateful for your love, your mercy, Father God, and truly your grace. And we ask that you send your ministering angels around Allison Seymour and her family tonight, Father God. We send blessings to them. We send a comforter to her, Father God, and we just ask that you continue to strengthen her and lift her up, Father God, and know that her mother is in a better place, and that you love her, and that you will never leave her or forsake her. We just ask all these blessings in your precious holy name. Amen. And so, if you guys are friends with her on social media, I just ask that you send her, a prayer or a blessing or whatever like that. And so again, I just want to tell you, thank you so much for coming to Wife Masterclass. And what I love about Wife Masterclass is where we can just be ourselves. I don't have to put on any airs. I'm 100% open and honest. And so when I got the information that her mother had passed away, I was basically sending emails and also contacting her people and just telling them that everything is going to be okay, because I just love her character, that no matter what was going on in her life, she thought enough of me to get information to me to tell me, that her mother had passed away and that she was still trying to make a way to be on this class. So that just tells me she is truly a classy lady and a class act. But at the end of the day, I did not want to put that on her plate, and I'm sure you guys will be okay with me teaching, Wife Masterclass tonight. There's some housekeeping things I want to talk to you guys about. 2019. I know you're like, Gail, it's just now going to be May, that's in January. Let me just tell you, there is women that come from all over the world that come to bringing sexy back to the marriage. And God has blessed this conference for the last 5 years to actually sell out. And usually I only have a few spots going into December. And right now I am running an early bird special, and I admonish you to take advantage of that. If you go to bsbconference.com, right there on the homepage, you'll see the MRS Factor 2017. You want to go ahead and register for that. Right now, you can register the other Wife and Life courses, the other Wife and Life courses, and any of the additional sextras that are on there. Those icons are not working, because I'm shifting some things around, but all the teachers and speakers are there. I will be adding a few more classes and doing some things. And right now, for you guys who know me well enough and been to the conference, I try out everything and everybody before I open up classes. And so I'm looking to get some other teachers and speakers to do some wife life courses. I have some ideas that I'm going to be executing, and going to visit some of these other people who are going to be teaching those courses. So before I open those up, I just want to ensure that the quality is going to be there. But as far as the teachers and speakers, most of those are set. I do have a few more people that I'm talking to add to your experience. So I'm super excited about that. But you want to go ahead and save your seat, because the BSB conference is going to sell out again. God has already showed me that. We are at a fantastic, beautiful new hotel in downtown Silver Spring. It's the DoubleTree by Hilton. And when I tell you it's absolutely gorgeous, it's absolutely gorgeous. God continues to just take us higher and higher and higher. And so you want to go ahead and, if nothing else, save your seat for the conference, and all the other details will be worked out probably by the end of May, because like I said, I have some classes that I'm going to take from some people that I want to impart into you guys. The other thing is that at my BSB conference this year, I launched a Wife by Design mentorship program. That's a year-long program, so it's not too late for you to join us. You know, I am so committed, like I said on my Facebook Live chat that I just did, is to make sure that you guys get everything that you need. I'm going to give you everything that I have when it comes to helping you rebuild, sustain, have a strong, healthy marriage. Because for you guys that know my story, I know what it is not to be in a happy marriage, and so or a healthy marriage. You know, my husband, you know, left me 7 years in because of my mouth. And so, you know, if you want to read my story more, feel more than welcome to visit the website bsbconference.com. So let me just get to why you're here on this line. And if the ladies that I met at Get Courageous are on here, just hit me up on the Facebook page, the event page, just to say hello. I met some fabulous ladies this weekend, and I'm super glad that you guys have decided to join Wife Masterclass. So today I really want to talk to you about change your mind, change your marriage. And when I thought about this, and I asked Allison actually to teach this class, you know, the mind is a very powerful tool. And the mind can play tricks on you. It can get you in trouble. It can expand your thinking. It could close off your thinking. It could do so many different things when it comes to your marriage. And you know how you think sometimes your mind just wanders, and you start saying things to your spouse, or start saying things to yourself that is not even true. But the mind can just play all kind of tricks on you. And so today I really want to talk to you about how really controlling your mind and setting your mind on a course that you feed positivity into your marriage most of the time. And why I say most of the time, because nobody is perfect. Nobody's going to be positive in every situation when it comes to dealing with your spouse. But you can make better choices, and it all starts in your mind, because what you think in your mind eventually will come out of your mouth. Well, would you guys agree? You can't really say if you agree or not, because we're on Wife Masterclass. But at the end of this, I really want us to have a discussion. I really want you guys to send me some questions and things like that. And so Letitia will be monitoring the Facebook event page. And then also, if you want to, you know, post questions and send questions, she'll be more than happy to field those to me. The first thing I want to talk about is you can't change your husband. You can only change yourself. And so what do I mean by that? So many of us, including myself, we want to change our husband because we figure if we can change him, then everything is going to be better, because he's the problem. You're not the problem. And I will tell you that you guys play a 50-50 part in what's going on in your marriage right now. No, Gail, I don't ever say anything wrong. I don't ever do anything wrong. It's all him. I don't fuss. He fuss. I just sit there and listen. Well, at the end of the day, he might be fussing, and you might just be there sitting there listening and taking it. But you're playing a part because he might feel that you're ignoring him. And that's the reason why he's upset, right? And so, again, in any situation, you play a 50-50 part in that. And that was something that was very, very hard for me to handle. What do you mean I play a 50-50 part in everything? And when I had to go to counseling, I was like, no, because sometimes I don't even say anything. And she said, exactly, when you don't say anything and you don't choose your words carefully when you do say something, you're sending a negative, I can't even talk, a negative signal that you're not listening, that you don't care. You choose not to engage. And so that can set him off, right? And so at the end of the day, the only person you can work on is yourself. And I get all the time, Gail, I'm doing all the work in the relationship and he's doing absolutely nothing. Again, only you can change you. You have to pray and ask the Lord to change your husband. And that is very hard when you're feeling like you're giving your all and he's giving nothing. I get it. Trust and believe me, I've been there too. But I also know that there's been times in my marriage that my husband was giving it his all and I was giving nothing back because I was trying to decide if I wanted to stay there, right? I was trying to decide if I wanted to stay in my marriage. What was going on with me. I was not feeling it. I was not, I wasn't 100% present. But at the end of the day, I had to work on me and I had to learn to pray for my husband that God would change him and how we communicated, because it was at one point in time that we couldn't communicate at all. It just ended up in an argument over the most simplest things. And I couldn't figure out why. And it was because I was too busy trying to change him and how he reacted to things and how he should have reacted to things and all of those things. So that's number one. Number two, marriage is not about the commitment. It's about the covenant. What do I mean? And I know a lot of people are going to get on. It is truly about it's not about the commitment. It's about the covenant. The only person on this planet, and when I got this, and I had to get this through my mentor, the only person on this earth that you cut a covenant with in flesh and blood is your husband. The other person is God. And when you stop looking at your marriage as a contract and you stop looking at it that it should be making you happy and that everything should go your way, and you look at it as a covenant, you will change the way you relate to your husband. You will change the way you show up in your marriage. You will change the way you put your priorities in order. Because when my mentor told me the only person on this planet that you cut a covenant with in flesh and blood is your husband and God, man, I was so convicted when she told me that, because I was like, wow, that is powerful. That is something to really ponder and to think about. And I began to really change how I treated Gil. I began to change how I put him in, the pecking order, because it was always God, my children, and, everything else. Because at the time, my children were so young, I felt that they needed me the most. And that's not the God's order, right? But even though I knew that was not the order, I continued to do it wrong until I got that concept that he is a walking, talking, living covenant that I cut with God. And I am so wanting to please God. So therefore, I'm going to do my all to try to please Gil and try to be the wife that he deserves. So that's the second thing. And also, it's not about happiness, because happiness is a feeling, and those are subject to change at any given time, especially with a woman with hormones that go up and down, around, and all. I mean, we're just all over the place. So if you're looking for your spouse to really make you happy, then you need to really do some work, because that's not their job. It's not, because that's just an emotion. And your emotions are everywhere. And when I realized that Gil wasn't put here to make me happy, that was another reality check, right? And again, I had to work on the mind in order to change my marriage. The third thing I want to talk to you about, you and your husband will not grow at the same time, at the same pace, and it's okay. And again, I've been in this situation as education-wise. Gil has exceeded me when it came to education. I stopped at a bachelor's degree. Once I got out of school, that was it for me, right? I was like, I'm not going back to no schools. I don't want to go back to no school. I wasn't a good student. I just got out, and I'm not even using the degree that I received. But have I went and got certifications and all those kind of things? Yes. But as far as going to another 4-year school, absolutely not. But at some point in time, especially when my kids were younger and I was at home raising them, I felt that he was outgrowing me in so many different areas. I felt like education-wise, career-wise, he was just outgrowing me. And I felt that I was inadequate to really, be his wife. And I felt like, where did I fail myself? Like, should I go back to school? So I started doing research and, just feeling as if that once he, got to the level that he got to in his career, and he has 2 master's degrees, and just all this stuff, how your mind starts saying, am I going to be good enough? Am I intelligent enough? Am I going to be able to walk beside him? But I had to realize that we're going to grow at different paces. As long as we're communicating, and as long as that I'm able to be a support system to him and him to me, that I'm okay. And so if you're in a situation where you're feeling like your husband is outgrowing you and that you need to really compete with him, I want you to change that mindset. Because he's not outgrowing you. You have to look at it like this. You're going to grow at different pace, right? And for me right now, I'm in a true growth spurt, right? And Gil's working in his career. He's doing wonderful. But for me, I'm growing every single day. God is putting people in my life. He's giving me opportunities. He's allowing me to touch the world. Just do so many different things. And it's some things that are on, going on right now in my life. I can't even share with you guys yet until they come to fruition, or things are in place and all those kind of things. So, I share those things with Gil, and he's excited for me. And so I'm just really glad that when we were in that situation where I was feeling inadequate, that he was outgrowing me, with his education and his accolades and all of those things that was going on, that I didn't allow that to really kill my marriage. Because at one point in time, I got in a situation where I was truly depressed, and I felt like, wow, I'm just going to go back to work. I'm going to make all this money or whatever, but it would have been at the expense of my children and the well-being of the structure of my household at the time, because he was in school and he was doing so many different things and working full time and those kind of things. So it's okay when you're thinking that your husband's outgrowing you, but I really want you to regulate your mind and know that it's going to be okay, because your turn is coming, right? And it could have been a situation where you feel like you're outgrowing him and you want to stifle that growth. I say, don't stifle your growth. Allow yourself to grow. Make sure you're communicating with your husband, and make sure that you're making sure he's okay as well in the process. Number 4, your marriage should never, your kids, I should say this, your kids should never come before your marriage. And I know, and I just talked to some women this weekend about that, and it is very difficult being a mother. It is difficult being a mother because you figure that your husband can take care of himself and that your kids need you. I don't care how old they are. I have a 24-year-old that's in the military, and whenever he calls, I want to be there for him or whatever. And my husband's like, listen, I need you to do X, Y, and Z. But I'm like, wait a minute, my baby needs me. He's over in Cuba and he needs me. And so I constantly trying to find that balance, right? But I know, and I go back to what I said and what my mentor taught me. My husband is my first priority. He's my first covenant besides God, right? And so when I get in that space and I'm starting to battle that situation, I always have to go back to that. And especially, I know it's hard for you women to have younger children that really need you, right? I'm talking about a 24-year-old and a 15-year-old, right? But I know when you have newborn babies, sometimes it's very difficult because your husband is wanting your attention and your baby needs your attention. And how do you balance that, right? And I think it's, for me, just being able to coach women through that is all about communication. It is not about saying, honey, you know that this baby needs me more than you need me, right? Because at the end of the day, he came before that baby, right? And so it's all about communication and just saying, I hear you, but can I complete this little piece to make sure the baby's comfortable, and then I'm going to be there available for you. And again, you got to change the way you handle those things, because I know for me, when my kids were younger, and just with the situation with Justin, just, the other day, I had to sit back and think about it, because I did not respond the way I should have responded to Gail. So I had to go back and say I was sorry, right? It would have been a time that I wouldn't have said I was sorry, like, whatever, those are my kids, right? But it's not the right thing. And so I am so on this mindset of working on, before I speak, is it something that's going to help my marriage? Is it something that I have to say at that point in time? And how am I delivering it? And would it be information that I would want to receive it the way I was going to deliver it? And so those are some big things that you need to think about, right? Number 5, choose to think the best of your husband at all times and in any situations. And I know I'm going to get some emails on this, but Gail, what if he's wrong? What if I did catch him cheating? What if he did call me out of my name? What about all of those things, right? At the end of the day, I don't condone any physical abuse, and I don't condone any mental abuse. But at the end of the day, it is so easy for us to always take the low road when it comes to our husband. Statistics says that 65% of women will choose to believe something that somebody else tells them that they don't know as well about their spouse, instead of doing the research before we react. 65%, right? So that's saying that if I just came off the street and said, I seen your husband in the car with another woman, your mind is going to already go that he's cheating, right? It could be his boss, his sister, or whatever. I don't have the complete information, but I just felt that I wanted to pick up the phone and call you and start some nonsense, right? And so, but your mind is already going to that he's committing adultery, or that he's somewhere that he's not supposed to be, or he's doing something he's not supposed to do, right? And so 65% of us will go there. And so I really want us to work on that, because again, that is something that I struggle with, and I still struggle with, right? And because I'm human, and that's the way we're built, right? To think that all men are going to cheat or do something that they're not supposed to be doing, or be in a space that they're not supposed to be in. And it's not always true. And so for me, I'm always trying to really work on making sure that I take the high road, and I choose to not be, oblivious what's going on, but always think the best of my spouse, and always try to put my spouse out in the best light. And again, it's just really regulating my mind. And I want to tell you a quick little story. When I was pregnant with Justin, right? Justin, my husband worked at a major hospital, a military hospital, and his godmother and my husband used to commute to work together, right? And then they would, come home together as well, right? And I didn't have to go up to the hospital very often, only when it was time for my appointments and stuff like that. But people seen them together all the time. They ate lunch together or whatever, but our families were so intertwined, and we would go to church together and all those kind of things. And so when I went to get my sonogram done, for the very first time, the young lady who was didn't know me, but had seen, when my husband came down, she asked me, was that my husband? And I said yes. Well, she felt it in her heart, again, that's the 65%, to tell me that he was cheating on me with some woman that she sees him with all the time. And so I was like, really? She's like, yeah. And she described who the person was, right? And she described his godmother, Chris, to a T, right? But, she thought she was doing me a favor. But what if I was one of those women that, lost track of, what was going on, and I could have allowed her to plant a seed in my brain and ruin my marriage? at that time, of course I knew who it was, but what if it would have been just a coworker that he hung out with all the time? Just because he's female doesn't mean that he's doing something wrong, because I have plenty male friends that we're just friends. That's all, we're just like brother and sister, right? And I also sometimes go places with my really close friends' husbands to go pick out gifts and stuff for them that they don't even know. But people can assume anything. And again, that's that 65%. So always choose to try to put your husband in a good light, and make sure that you don't always go to the negative, right? And do your research, and make sure that, okay, if he said he was doing so and so, he might have been somewhere getting you a gift. He might have been, utilizing that female to help him along the way to do something great for you and your family. So always just try to think positive. And the last thing is that your thoughts will begin to shape and create your future. And what do I mean that? Your thoughts will begin to create your future. My thing is that I want your marriages to be so healthy and to be strong, and to really be the light of the world, because God really ordained marriages, and he really it grieves him when we miss it and use plan B as divorces and all those kind of things. And I know sometimes divorces are going to happen. Don't get me wrong, because I was almost a statistic myself. But at the end of the day, if you can work on yourself, and you can change just some of the things and how you react, and some of the things that you allow to go on in your mind, and you put them off on your spouse, I'm telling you, you can change the course in the future of your marriage. I was there. Gil didn't like me, and I didn't like him. We was headed to divorce, and I was going to take him out before we got to divorce, because he had, taken my child in the situation and all of those things. But when I got a hold to what was going on in my head, and I realized that I did not want to be another statistic. I did not want to see my children grow up in a single parent household like I grew up in, like Gil grew up in, and so many others of you have grown up in. You really will begin to think about, how am I showing up in the world? How am I impacting so many other things and so many other people in my life? And so as I get ready to close Wife Masterclass, I just want to tell you, if you change the way you're thinking and how you view your husband and how you speak to your husband and how you show up in your marriage, right? We show up for so many different things. You show up at work 100% because you're waiting for that paycheck. You show up for your children. You show up for your girlfriends. You show up for so many different areas of your life. Show up for your marriage. Give your marriage 100%, because again, he is the only flesh and blood person that you cut a covenant with besides Jesus Christ himself. And I tell you, when you look at your marriage that way, you truly will be able to transform your marriage. And so if are there any questions, I would love to have questions, feedback about this class, because I pray that this has blessed you, because I just want you to know that I want you to win. I want you to win in every area of your life, and especially in your marriage. So if there's any questions, please, post them. You can post them. There's a couple of places you can post them. You can post them in the Facebook page. You can post them in the Google Hangout. You can post them in so many different areas, and I'll be happy to answer them. And if you don't want to post a question and you want to send me a personal message, you can send it through either one of my websites, gailcrowder.com, bsbconference.com, or you can just send me a direct email at gail@gailcrowderinc.com. And I don't see that she's sending me any messages or any things like that. So again, if you guys have not visited the website, go to bsbconference.com and register for the MRS Factor. I want to see you guys in the house. Like I said, we already have like 8 or 9 people registered already, which is phenomenal. And so I'm running the special right now. The price will go up. And so I want you to be able to be in the house as soon as possible. I don't know if you guys have purchased this book, Keep Your Legs Open. A Wives Guide to Sexual Satisfaction. If you want to purchase that, you can either download it or you can get a hard copy. You can visit the title, keepyourlegsopen.com, and you can order your book. It is phenomenal, and I'm getting rave reviews. It's changing people's sex lives, which is a wonderful thing. That's what it was created for. And I don't think I have any questions, so I want to tell you guys thank you so much for being on Wife Masterclass. Continue to pray for Allison and Allison Seymour and her family as they go through this rough time. I love you guys, and just know that I am a social media click away, a phone call away, or an email away, because I really want you guys to win. Go check out the website. Wife by Design is open. It's my mentorship program, and I will tell you, I love the ladies that I'm able to work with, and I just love being your wife mentor. And I will see you next week on Wife Masterclass. That's going to be our last class, and trust and believe me, I'm going to go in. I have a wonderful, huge giveaway I'm going to give away in that particular thing. It's going to be mind-blowing, to be honest with you. And so I'm super excited about that. So I want to say I love you guys, and I thank you so much for joining Wife Masterclass. I'll see you guys next Thursday.